Soulless humans. How do you know if you even have a soul? That's our subject tonight here on The Christian Whistleblower. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the artist known as The Christian Whistleblower. Denver's in the house. So glad to see you. And it's very good to see the rest of you here as well. If you didn't catch the epic podcast this afternoon with Joseph Atwell, author of Caesar's Messiah, I certainly encourage you to go back and listen to that podcast. Possibly the most powerful podcast we've ever had. Possibly. It was that good, powerful, outstanding, enjoyable, and very, very enlightening. That's what we're about. Guiding your spirit, mastering your ascension, being your own guru, knowing that you're divine, sovereign, and free, and that you don't have original sin, but you've got the spark of divinity within. That's what this whole channel is about, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk today about soulless humans. And it's kind of funny. Somebody sent Wayne and I can't remember the person's name, and even if I did, I wouldn't say. They sent us this article about soulless humans, and then we talked about it a little bit on the Sunday show, and then I got a tongue lashing about, I can't believe you used that way, and blah 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 blah. Well, number one, if you send me something, that doesn't mean you get to tell me how to use it. And number two, sorry, but I don't understand what your problem is exactly, because it's just the way it is. And if you send me things, I might use them. If you send me things, I might use them in the way that you don't want me to use them. So you take the chance when you roll the dice. So anyway, that's how it goes. And we just kind of mentioned it anyway. So, hey, hold on and we will see. So let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk. It's not the exact same background runaway train, because I did some artistic alterations to the one behind me. So there you go. Someone got their, yeah, they got their knickers in a wad, and that's okay. Somebody else got their knickers in a wad? Is that the same one that got the knickers in the wad? But anyway, who cares? So let's talk about this. And it doesn't really matter who sent it to me. And it doesn't even really matter who wrote the article, because they brought up information that I was unaware of. And I was unaware of this whole soulless humans idea is something that is pretty doggone old, which surprises me. Did you know that this guy named G.I. Gurdjieff says that a considerable percentage of the people we meet on the street are people who are empty inside. That is, they are actually already dead. Think of that. A considerable percentage, he said. It's fortunate for us that we do not see it and do not know it. Is it fortunate? If we knew what a number of people are actually dead and what a number of these people govern our lives, then we would go mad with horror, says G.I. Gurdjieff. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And that was George Ivanovich. I got the German in there. It's actually Russian. George Ivanovich Gurdjieff. He died 29 October 1949. So that was a long time ago, ladies and gentlemen. He died in 1949. So they were thinking about this stuff in 1949. And the interesting thing about Mr. Gurdjieff is they don't know when he was born. I find that very, very interesting. How can you know that? How can you not know when dude was born? That's interesting stuff. That's really interesting stuff. Makes him even more interesting to me. So he says a considerable number, and he's been talking about it, folks, since 1949. Well, that's when he died. So he obviously talked about it before 1949. He was a mystic. He was a philosopher. He was a spiritual teacher, and he was a composer, a musical composer He was of Armenian and Greek descent, and he was born in Alexandropol, Armenia. Interesting. And he taught, ladies and gentlemen, this is so fascinating to me. He taught that most humans, now that other quote said a considerable percentage, a large number, but he actually taught that most humans do not possess a unified consciousness. And this is not in that article that I was sent, by the way. This is a little thing called research. You go beyond what's written, but I know it's kind of foreign to a lot of people, but hang around here, you'll get used to it and you'll find yourself doing it. And that's a really, really great day. Most humans don't possess a unified consciousness and live their lives in a state of hypnotic waking sleep. They live their lives in a state of hypnotic waking sleep. But he says, it is possible to awaken to a higher state of consciousness and achieve full human potential. Gurdjieff described a method attempting to do so, calling the discipline the work. He referred to it as the fourth way. And I got the book. It'll be here soon. And I'm very interested in looking into that and finding out about it. But again, did you know that these people were talking about this stuff back in the 20s, 30s, 40s? It's amazing to me. Amazing to me. I thought this was a new thing. I thought this was a new age thing. And right on cue, when I speak of new age, here comes Michelle Thompson. She's not new age. She is a hypnotherapist who can help you get your stuff together. That's who Michelle Thompson is, and she is in the chat room. So I want to read you something else that he wrote. This is amazing. No, or is this from him, or is this from the oh, this is from somebody else who was even before 1949, I think. Yeah, before 1949. This is just some crazy stuff. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about soulless humans. And how do you know you have a soul? Well, I know I have a soul because I got my Mystech bracelets on. And they put me into the Schumann resonance. They actually put my cells back into harmony, take them out of chaos. We have proof videos on this channel of what happens in a blood test with Mystech bracelets. Amazing stuff. Some of them are targeted for specific spiritual and energetic purposes. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com, click on the Mystech logo, click on the Mystech tab. There's a whole selection there, Jeff and Halo selections for you. If you don't see what you want there, you can go to mystech.net and pick something out there. Come back to jeffreydaugherty.com, place your order to receive a full 20% off. And if you get Mystech and it doesn't help you, maybe you should look into yourself a little bit more. I'm only kidding. Well, that much. So listen to this. There's some humans who are like vampires. What are they, and why are they like that? They're not human. They're only a human form or appearance. They're incarnations of beings from the world that is just next to the physical, the fourth plane. You've heard Tony Sayer talking about the fourth plane, the fourth dimension, the astral realm being full of nothing that's good for you. And you hear me tonight saying to you, the fourth realm, the 4D, the astral plane is full of nothing that's good for you. If you go up there, you're silly. If you go up there, you're making a big mistake. You think it's a playground, but it's not. It's very, very dangerous. It's like sending your 5-year-old with his water wings on out to swim in shark-infested waters. It's not a matter with cuts on his leg. It's not a matter of if you're going to get bit. It's only when. Stay out of the astral realm. I don't care what these dummies in the new age, new rage, new cage tell you. You don't want to be astral projecting. You don't want to go into 4D. You don't want to go into the astral realm. There's nothing for you there. It is not a place for children. It's not a place for dabblers. And it's not a place for the silly-minded. The only reason you should go from 3D to 4D is if you're a warrior, We're not trying to get from 3D to 4D. We're trying to get from 3D through 4D and on to 5D and above. This is one of those parts of town where you don't get off the interstate. You just keep on driving. Stay away from the fourth dimension. But Archangel Puffin Stuff is in there. I don't care. He's a liar. But Archangel Michelangelo is in there. I don't care. He's a liar and you're silly. I'm telling you, I've been there. I've done that. You haven't. Stay out. Stay out. I'm the best in the world at what I do. I'm the only one in the world that does what I do. I am, sorry, Chris Jericho, AEW champion. I am le champion of biblical and spiritual interpretation. And I'm not afraid to say it. So stay out if you know what's good for you. They're incarnations of beings from the world that's just next to the physical, beings who live on the plane, which we would call the vital world. That's us here. It's a world of all the desires and impulses and passions and moments of violence and greed and cunning and every kind of ignorance. He's talking about the 4D. All the dynamisms are there. All the life energies, the powers, the beings of this world have by their nature a strange grip over the dummies, he didn't say dummies, in the material world and can exercise upon its sinister influence. Let me say, always exercise upon it a sinister influence, even when it looks like it's not sinister. Listen, when the pusher gives you the first hit of cocaine and it's free, it doesn't look like he's being sinister to you. It doesn't look like she's being sinister to you. But she is. When the pimp turns you out the first time for your own good, doesn't look like he or she is being sinister to you. They are. Jeff, are you saying they're all pimps and pushers? Yes, I am. And you're just not sophisticated enough to have figured it out. That's why you're here. Somebody needs to hear this message tonight. They desire and hunger. They still float there. They remain in form even after the dissolution of their bodies. They're moved to go on manifesting and satisfying themselves. And the birth of these creatures of the vital world is the consequence. But these are minor beings. And if they can be very troublesome, it is yet not impossible to deal with them. But there's no reason to have to. There are others far more dangerous who've never been in a human form, he says. Never were they born into a human body upon the earth, for most often they refuse to accept this way of birth because it's slavery to matter. And they prefer to remain in their own world, powerful and mischievous, and to control earthly beings from there. For if they do not want to be born on earth, they do want to be in contact with the physical nature, but not being bound by it. They want to use your energy. They want to use you as a hand puppet, but they want to stay free. Their method is first to try to cast their influence upon a man or a woman. Oh, it's Archangel Michael. It's Metatron. It's Yosemite Sam. It's a great, wonderful being. How do I know? Because I asked them, are you of the light? And they said, yes. Do I really, in December of 2019 or 1019, we'll get to that. Do I really have to tell you that if you ask a spirit, is it of the light? Of course it can lie to you. How can you believe they can't lie to you? That's what they do. They're lying spirits. Yet you think somehow, I ask you, are you of the light? Oh, yes, I'm of the light. Come on, man. If you really believe that, I probably can't help you. I probably can't help you. But, ladies and gentlemen, they try to cast influence upon you first. Then they enter slowly into your atmosphere and in the end may get complete possession of you, driving out entirely the real human soul. We've been talking about this. Driving out entirely the real human soul and personality. These creatures, when in possession of an earthly body, may have the human appearance, but they don't have a human nature. Their habit is to draw upon the life force of human beings, attack and capture vital power whenever they can and feed upon it, like I just said. And if they come to your atmosphere, you'll feel depressed, exhausted. If you're near for them, sometime you'll fall sick. If you live with one of them, it may kill you. But how is one to get such a creature out of one's environment once they're there? The vital power incarnated in these beings is of a very material kind, and it is effective only within a short distance. Ordinarily, if you do not live in the same house or if you're not in the same company with them, you do not come into their influence. But if you open some channel of connection or communication, pray, meditate, channel. How much channelers out there? How much channelers out there? You make possible an interchange of forces and are liable to be influenced by them even from a distance. The wisest way with these beings is to cut off all connection and have nothing to do with them. Like I just said, don't go there. Unless you have great occult knowledge and power and have learned how to cover and protect yourself. And you haven't. There's 40,000 of you that are subscribed to this channel, and you are of the elite of spirituality. And if 10% of you are that occultically knowledgeable, I'd be surprised, and you're the best of the best. So what does that say about the rest? And even then, he says, even then, it's a dangerous thing to move about with them. The astral is not a place for you to go have sex with people, you idiot. The astral is not a place for you to go up and look for colors and do silliness. It's not a playground. It's a battlefield. And you are like a little 5-year-old boy with water wings and cuts in your legs swimming in shark-infested waters. To hope to transform these entities, as some people do, is a vain illusion. For they do not want to be transformed. They want to transform you. I added that part. They have no intention of allowing any transformation, and all effort in that direction is useless. You're not going to save people in the astral realm. Sometimes you can pull them out of soul farms, but that's very, very difficult, and that's really, really high-level stuff. But these beings within the human body are often not conscious of what they really are. Listen to that. Sometimes they have a vague feeling that they're not quite human. Still, there's cases where they're conscious and very conscious. Not only do they know, but they do not belong to humanity, but they know, in fact, what they are. And they will act in knowledge and deliberately pursue their ends. The beings of this vital world are very powerful by their nature. And when to their power they add knowledge, they become doubly dangerous. There's nothing to be done with these creatures. Avoid having any dealings with them unless you have the power to crush and destroy them. And the will. That's why you never go into the astral unless you have a very specific mission. And a very powerful will and a made-up mind, cousins. If you're forced into contact with them, beware of the spell they can cast. When they manifest in the physical plane, they always have a great hypnotic power. For the center of their consciousness is in the vital world and not in the material. And they are not veiled and dwarfed by the material consciousness as human beings are. This was written by Sri Aurobindo in a book called The Hidden Forces of Life, the Integral Yoga. Sri Aurobindo was born Aurobindo Ghose in 1872. He was an Indian philosopher, yogi, guru, poet, and a nationalist. Check this dude out. He first was a fighter in the Indian movement for independence from British rule. He was a terrorist, a bomber, and all kind of stuff like that. And he then realized his error, became a spiritual reformer, and introduced his visions on human progress and spiritual evolution. Do you hear what the guy said? And this is a guy who was a terrorist. He understands. And you know what? Somebody mentioned this. I have never felt comfortable with people playing in the Akashic records. I think it's probably just, hey, little boy, want to see my puppy? I got him in the van. Hey, little girl, want some candy? It's right up here in the van. Hey, want to check out the Akashic records? I got him in my van. I think it's the same thing. And I know from experience, you know from emotionalism, you don't want to pet the puppy. You don't want to lick that lollipop. You don't want to get in the van. Do not go in the white van with no windows. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You can do whatever you want, but I'm telling you, don't do it. And people smarter than me and longer, that have been around longer than me, and Henry Ballot says only trained mystics and shamans should be visiting the astral plane. You better know how you're trained. If you got your astral stuff in the back of a book, in the back of National Geographic, if you took a weekend shaman experience, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I want to cite one more expert. This guy died in 1950. Was born in 1872. They've been talking about this stuff for 50 years, right? Yeah, 1949, 1950. This is, it's been math major, Bible college major, not math major. Give me a minute. 50 to, so that's 50. Yeah, that's like 70 years they've been talking about this stuff. 70 years they've been talking about this stuff. And some of you haven't even been woke for 7 months, and you're like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Really? These guys have been talking about it for 70 years. You've been woke for 7 minutes and you know more? Go ahead. Go ahead. All I can do is warn you. Go ahead. Knock yourself out. Rudolf Steiner, in 1923, was interviewed by a teacher, and Rudolf Steiner said that there's a little girl in the first grade that has something very wrong inside. There's not much that we can do for her. Such cases are increasing in which children are born without a human form. In 1923, 80, that's 100 years ago or so. 100. Oh, but I've been awake for like, months and months. And like, I'm totally, I was going to say masturbating, and that's really what you're doing. I'm totally meditating. And I am like all the oracle cards. I got a deck, and I'm like totally doing tarot, and I'm totally like watching YouTube. Oh, I know. I am so spiritual, and I go in the astral realm, and I have sex with Brad Pitt, and it's fun. And I go up there and look at the colors. Yeah. Do I need to say anything else? Do I really need to say anything else? Children are being born without a human form. They're not really human beings in relation to their highest I, capital I. Instead, they're filled with beings that do not belong to the human class. Quite a number of people have been born since the 90s, the 1890s, without an I. Not these, but an I, capital I. That is, they're not reincarnated, but their human forms filled with a sort of natural demon. I'll say spirit. He said demon. There are quite a large number of older people going around who are actually not human beings, but are only natural, and they are human beings only in regard to their form. We cannot, however, create a school for demons. The teacher asked, how is that possible? Dr. Steiner says cosmic error is certainly not impossible. The relationships of individuals coming into earthly existence have long been determined. There's also generations in which individuals have no desire to come to earthly existence and be connected with physicality. That's something that we heard Shri say before, or immediately leave at the very beginning. In such cases, other beings that are not quite suited step in. This is something that is now quite common. In 1923, I didn't know this. I thought it was a new thing. That human beings go around without an eye, and they're actually not human beings, but have only a human form. They're like nature spirits. We don't recognize as such because they go around in a human form. They're also quite different from human beings in regard to everything spiritual. The riddle of life is not so simple. When such a being dies, it returns to the nature from which it came. The corpse decays, but there's no real dissolution of the etheric body, and the natural being returns to nature. It is also possible that something like an automaton could occur. The entire human organism exists, and it might be possible to automate the brain and develop a kind of pseudo morality or mortality, I think he meant to say. I don't like to talk about it, he said, since we've often been attacked even without them. Imagine what people would say if they heard that we say that there are people who are non-human beings. Sit back and watch it happen, but that's okay because I'm here to do what I'm here to do. And if you think that I've been crazy so far, hold on, cousins, because we're about to kick it up into higher gear. You think I've been wall to wall, treetop tall so far? The walls just got 10 times higher and the trees just got 10 times taller, cousin. We are ready to freaking rock and roll like you've never rocked and rolled before. It's time for 100-foot tall Elvis Presley coming at you. Our culture would not be in such a decline if people felt more strongly that a number of people who are going around because they're completely ruthless have become something that's not human, but instead are demons in human form. 1923. 1923, he said it. Dr. Rudolf Steiner. 1923, 1949, 1950, and we call ourselves New Age. How laughable. We know nothing. And we're dangerous because we think we know everything. We're not even at the tip of the iceberg. We're about 3 snowflakes down on the big drift of snow on top of the ice. That's on top of whatever's under the berg. Tip of the iceberg, psh, we're nowhere near the tip of the iceberg. And if I'm not anywhere near the tip of the iceberg, I'll let you finish that sentence. Every time I think I know, I realize that I don't know what I think I did. There's so much more. There's so much depth. And that's why we're really kicking it up, ladies and gentlemen. And we've got to study history. We've got to study the Roman Gospels. We've got to study what really is, in effect, the Jesuit New Testament. We've got to understand typology. We've got to understand what they've done to us, because we got to get our brains squared away if we're ever going to be able to understand what's going on. And I don't know that we totally have to understand what's going on, but we have to understand that we've been messed with. Oh my. How long have we been here? We've already been here a while, 30 minutes. I need to give you some more of this. This is amazing stuff. Bernard Gunther, Organic Portals, Soulless Humans. As long as we keep lying to ourselves, most of those hearing us have no desire to do so based on conditioning, wishful thinking, suppression, or denial. And I also believe that the lies out there, mistaking them for truth, nothing will change. He's talking about the fact that in any other realm, ladies and gentlemen, If you want to be a plumber, you got to start out as an apprentice plumber. Then you move to a journeyman plumber. And then you move to a master plumber. You can't even fix pipes on your own when you start out. Even in the pseudo world of intelligentsia, you can't go to middle school till you've been to elementary school. You can't go to high school till you've been to middle school. You can't go to college till you've been to high school. You can't go to an advanced degree until graduate school, until you've been to college. But wait, here's the spiritual realm. And even in the Christian world, as broke and busted and disgusted as it is, you got to go to Bible college most of the time, or at least some Bible institute. You got to sit under a preacher. You got to do some practicing. You got to preach on Wednesday night when no one shows up before you can actually become a preacher, a teacher in front of people. But boom, here comes YouTube. And you can be the biggest dummy on 2 feet, and you can have 60,000 subscribers on YouTube and you're an expert. You can get out of jail. You can get a jailhouse revelation. Get out of jail. Can't even spell spirituality. And all of a sudden you go on, you got a good spiel, a good shtick. You're a guru and everybody's following you. Wow. 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 Really? But that's not even the surprising part. That's not even the surprising part. No, I wasn't talking about Jim Bakker because he actually went to Bible college. The surprising part is that people will, the surprising part isn't the person that gets out of jail, has a jailhouse revelation, doesn't know how to spell spirituality, and all of a sudden is a big guru. That's not the surprise. The surprise is there's 60,000 people that think they're a guru. Wow. Would you invite somebody in to fix your pipes if they told you, oh, I just had a revelation of how to fix pipes and I decided to be a plumber? Would you let them in to fix your pipes? I had a revelation. I got a message from the electrician in the sky. And I know how to fix electricity. Can I work on your wiring? Emerald Eagle says it best. Send in the clowns. Where are the clowns? Of course you wouldn't invite them in. You ladies, you go to the gynecologist. I had a revelation that I'm supposed to look at vaginas all day long. I'm an expert. Come on in and put your feet in the stirrups. Would you do it? I don't think you would. I don't think you would. But he's on YouTube and da 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 da. Wow. That's funny. That's funny. So he's saying that's what he was relating to. I didn't put that part down, but as long as we keep lying to ourselves, oh, that's okay. They got a revelation. They got they channel the Father, Megatron, Minitron, Mini-Me. They get this truth stuff. And as long as we keep lying to ourselves, we think everything's going to be okay. As long as we still have this desire based on conditioning, oh, they look good, they sound good. Wishful thinking, oh, I just want to believe. Suppression or denial. Look, you got to be a little more. And when you start saying we got to hold to standards, oh, you're judging. Damn right I'm judging. I'm judging that people ought to have something, some stability and proof before we elevate them to the place of teacher. That's not called judging. That's called sense. Used to be called common sense, but we can't call that anymore because there ain't much of it around. And as long as we're willing to do that, nothing will change. As long as we're willing to say, oh, well, let's not say anything bad about these people. Let's not point these people out. Let's not call a spade a spade. Let's not call a dummy a dummy. Let's not call a neophyte a neophyte. Let's not call Johnny come lately Johnny come lately. Then it will go on. Nothing will change. And if we just keep having a positive attitude and hope that they'll find their way, we're lying to ourselves. We're lying to ourselves. We're lying to ourselves. In these times of transition, says Bernard Gunther, it becomes imperative to seek truth and to strive towards objectivity. And when you hear, I keep saying it. And even people here are hooked on fear porn. Nothing's going to happen tomorrow. Relax. Relax. Most people are not aware, he says, of the path this world is currently going towards. Sure, there are some self-proclaimed aware and conscious folks who believe that it's all going to just go as it has to go, and that humanity, and like it's got to be the tribulation. They've got to build the temple. They got to have the heifer. All these things got to happen. And after that, then humanity can wake up. That's one side of the house. Bad things are coming. Horrible things are coming. Bible says, Scripture says, even though prophecy's history and I've proven it to you. Then the other side says, oh, just be love. Just show love. Those are both traps of pseudo-spirituality. They're both pseudo-spirituality. And the sad fact is, ladies and gentlemen, not everyone is going to make it. Not everyone is going to make it. And not everyone in this realm was ever intended to make it. There's a splitting of humanity, and not everybody's going to make it. I saw this back when I was still a stupid Pentecostal preacher. One river flowing one way, another river flowing another way. Both people happy to be on the trip. But if one river's going one direction and another river's going the opposite direction, one of them's going the wrong way. And if you continue to follow that river that's filled with blood, or that river that's got a little blood, or that river that's got just a little drop of blood, a little dab will do you in your river. What's blood? Blood is anything connected to sacrifice, crosses, saviors, sin, Jesus, Father, salvation, church, Christian, ministry. Anything connected to those things is still connected to the blood. And if you're still in it, it's in you. And you're still freaking infected. You can be 99% out and still have 1% of that blood makes you bloody, and it will kill you. You've got to decide who you're with. If you're with the blood bros, then stay with the blood bros. And have a great time. No blood here, folks. The blood stops here. We don't pat it on the head. We don't try to deal with it. We don't try to have any connection to it. We don't try to work out an arrangement with it. It stops here. No blood. This is a blood-free zone, ladies and gentlemen. 110% blood-free. And as we move further into time itself, we're going to see that there's really two different races, or two different segments of humanity coexisting on earth, looking the same, but not the same. You know, it's all vogue today to say, oh, we're all one. And if we just recognize that we're one, we'd unite under peace and harmony. And if the rulers would just recognize that they're one and have love and compassion, that's wrong. And that's dangerous. And it's not realistic. We're all one, but only from a higher perspective. Laura Knight Yadzik, in her work, The Secret History of the World, says that many modern day teachers and gurus tell us that since there's only one being which permeates all things, all we have to do is see everything only as light, and that will transmute the darkness, and we'll create our own reality of light. She ignores the fact that the statement God is one describes a reality that's way above where we are. And our own mixed being manifestation of reality can't accept it, and it doesn't apply here. It ignores the fact that there's beings here and there's non-beings here. And you may not like that, you may not understand it, but it is the truth. Evil is real, and there are really evil people here. We can decide to either use our knowledge and apply that knowledge and become a being and realize that there's some that aren't, and avoid the paths that lead to non-being. And Christianity is designed to lead you into the non-being path. Human beings must learn to discern between good and evil. We've got to become consciousness energy detectors at every stage of their existence in this reality. And some people listening to the sound of my voice got a lot of work to do, because you can't do it yet. I got a lot more. And I'll just leave it with this. We are not all the same in this third density. We are not all the same right now in this experience on planet Earth. There are some here that don't have a conscience. There are some here on YouTube preaching to you, teaching you that you support and you love and you pay and you are hooked on, that don't have a conscience and don't have a consciousness. The illusion that most regular folks make is they have this assumption that people in positions of power, oh, he's on YouTube and he's got 20, 30, 40, 50, 60,000, 100, 200, 300,000 followers. He's in a position of power. He must understand, and he must think just like I do, and he must be a great person. What if he's a person or she's a person that's not connected to the higher centers of universal love and awareness at all by birth? What if they're not even genetically wired that way? They can fake, they can emulate these characteristics quite well and distract you. And what are they there for? To sap your energy and feed off of it, to sap your money and live off of it. They can tell you exactly what you want to hear. They can appear compassionate, empathetic, and understanding without meaning or feeling it one bit. When I appear uncompassionate, when I appear unapathetic, when I appear pissed off, I mean it 100%. What you see is what you get, and you ain't seen nothing yet. We are just getting started. What you see is what you get, and you ain't seen nothing yet. So get on up. It's an old cheerleading thing I remember from football. And this guy asked, what if this type of human makes up half the world's population? Let me ask you, what if this type of presenter makes up half of the channels on YouTube? What if these kind of people make up half the channels on YouTube? They might be a channel you're subscribed to. They might be a person you send money to. They might be somebody you love. Certainly not a pleasant thought, but I'm not always a pleasant thought kind of guy. I'm a real world kind of guy. I know it's a blow to the popular New Age paradigm, but guess what? I'm here to blow up the popular New Age paradigm. I know that it goes against the we're all one and humanity's becoming enlightened because we're focusing on love and light. You might be, I'm not. I'm focusing on what's real and what's right. I know it goes against positive thinking and oh my God, I watch Spirit Science and I got a flower of life tattooed on my ass. Oh, you're so spiritual. You got a flower of life tramp stamp. Oh, you must be a giant in the field of spiritual science. One more little tidbit. A guy named Boris Moraviev wrote something called the Gnosis Trilogy in 1890. Studies and commentaries on the esoteric tradition of Eastern Orthodoxy. We'll start with that next time. I had no idea that people have been talking about this for so long, and we think we're so spiritual and so advanced and so wonderful. We don't even know what we don't know. We don't even know what we don't know. But we know that we know everything. Really? Really? Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, boys and girls. Come on, cousins of all ages. Really? Let me go into the chat room and look for some questions, look for some great statements. Michelle Thompson says, no shit. I agree. Emerald Eagle says, the man who knows something knows that he knows nothing. That's exactly true. This is so good stuff. Let's see what else we got here. I wonder where the benevolent creator is in all this craziness. Runaway Train, let me share with you my thoughts on that. I'm a parent and I have 3 kids that are of age. My youngest one is, let me do the math, 35, 31, 30, 20, 20, 27. And where is the benevolent creator in all this craziness? Sometimes you look at their life and it's total craziness. Broke, out of a job, car broke down, no groceries, always plenty of weed though, mystery of mysteries. And you would look at their life, it's craziness. And as omnipotent creator / parent, you want to come in and rescue the day. But as long as you keep being omnipotent creator, rescuing from craziness, craziness keeps happening. Only when crazy wakes up and realizes, oh, I'm also divine, sovereign, and free and grown. I need to start taking care of my damn self. So sometimes a parent has to let craziness happen in order for the people involved in it to learn to take care of it their damn selves. So maybe the benevolent, omnipotent creator is sitting up wherever the benevolent, omnipotent creator is and looking down here saying, why don't you stop asking why God won't do something and start doing it yourself? Just a thought. Just a thought. Just a thought, ladies and gentlemen. Apprentice, journeyman, master. We should have that in spirituality some way, somehow. We just should. We just should. I don't know how you could do it. Raven Wolf, nice to see you. Let's see. Seems there's always an agenda in the religious world. Yep, there is. What else? Send in the clowns. Okay, I remember we were here. I may book a session with Bernard Gunther. Oh, does he have a thing? Okay, cool. Didn't know that. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I said, Mommy 420. Good for you. You hit it right on the head. You hit it right on the head. Let's see. Humanity's getting way too gullible. Humanity's been way too gullible, Hermoso, but I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. Are the soulless ones obsessed with status, fame, material gain? I don't know. Yes and no, I would say probably. I'm drinking hot water with lemon in it. Soulless ones are in service to self. They are. Even if it doesn't look like it. Even if it doesn't look like it. Like Tracy said, I don't know necessarily. That's right. That's right. Angela says, Fluffy, JeffreyDaugherty.com. Go to FLFE logo, click on it. They beam a more nurturing environment right to where you are. It's amazing. I can't say anything about it except try it. Once you try it, you'll know it. And it's free for 30 days. Try it. If you don't like it, great. If you do, then you might have to drink 2 or 3 less cups of coffee a month, which will be good for you anyway, or make them at home to be able to pay for it. I think it's $30 a month or something like that. It's amazing stuff. That is the Fluffy. Miss Tech, I've already talked about. C60. That's our new sponsor, C60 Purple Power. I've been taking this stuff. I've increased my dosage, and I feel so good. And Ken is going to come back on as soon as he gets back from his vacation. And there's things that I didn't know. And Ken said, did you know that it'll also do this? I'm like, I'll be damned. It does do that. Things that are on the esoteric, things that are on the occult or unseen, unknown, things that are on the spiritual level. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that with Ken. Amazing, amazing stuff. Keep doing it, ladies and gentlemen. Go to c60purplepower.com. Use the code TCW, Tango Charlie Whiskey, or the Christian Whistleblower 10. You get 10% off. Great stuff. I'm burned out on pacifists. Anyone who is an apologist for barbaric, blood-drenched Old Testament principles cannot be considered a teacher of true morality, says Hermoso House. Let me read that again. Anyone, I don't care how sweet they are, how nice they are, how handsome they are, how pretty they are, how soft they talk, how sweet they talk, how loud they yell, how good looking they are. It doesn't matter. Anyone who is an apologist for barbaric, blood-drenched religion. And you know what that means to be an apologist for barbaric, blood-drenched religion? Anybody that mentions carrying your cross, barbaric, blood-drenched religion. Anybody that mentions salvation, barbaric, blood-drenched religion. Anybody that mentions Savior, barbaric, blood-drenched religion. Redemption from sin, barbaric, blood-drenched religion. Saviors, masters, fathers, Jesus, Yeshua, cross, ministry. What else? Filled with the Spirit, following the Spirit, listening to the Spirit. It's all blood stained. It's all goes back to human sacrifice, cannibalism, and it doesn't matter what they say, that's what it is. And as long as you're with it, you won't be with it. You won't get it, and they will drag you down to their level and then capture you through experience. Thank you for that, Hermoso. Very, very good. Very, very powerful statement. Very, very powerful statement. But they're so nice. Yeah. Tell me that when, anyway. If it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's up to you to decide what it might be. Joanne, are we cross today? Are we cross? Let's see. See, you start talking about things and people get mad at you, but that's okay. They say be loved, but they don't know love, says Michelle Thompson. Nice one. So all Christians are on the wrong, asked Frank Atherton. Let me see, Frank. Let's define what a Christian is. Frank, you tell me, what is a Christian? The Christian is a person who has sold their soul. I give my soul to Jesus, to the Father. They've accepted the sacrifice, human sacrifice of Jesus for their sins. They've washed their sins in the blood. They've covered themselves with the blood of a human sacrifice. And they've asked Jesus to come into their heart. That's one spirit. They've asked the Father to come into their heart. That's two spirits. And even their own Bible says that 7 more worse than them can come in. So they got 16 spirits possessing them in a ritual where they sold their soul in exchange for eternal life, which is really only in this mortal body, but they didn't read that part of the contract. In a ritual before a symbol of human sacrifice, sometimes with the dead guy still on the stick. And they reaffirm this commitment by drinking the blood and eating the flesh on a regular basis and calling on the blood and pleading the blood and admitting that they're sinners saved by grace. That's what it takes to be Christian. Is that wrong? Yes, it is. So are all Christians wrong? What does Socratic logic tell you? Not only yes, but hell yes. Not only yes, but hell yes. Emerald Isle, he knows that song. One day when I was lost, Jesus died on that cross, and I know it was the blood for me. Sunday school song. Sunday school song. Wow. Wow. Break the covenant you made with the blood. Don't follow any spiritual system of ritual sacrifice, says Hermoso. Hermoso is in fuego. Is that a little Spanish I worked in there? We're so multicultural on this channel. I love it. I think Joanne is cross tonight. I really do. Let's see. And Hermoso, little comedy. I'm okay with Odin bathing in the menstrual blood of a giantess, but not ritual sacrifice blood. One is like spare, and the other one is you can't do without. So I can see the understand. I can see it there. Whoo! Wow, that was a weird statement, but it was funny. Funny. Oh, let's see, ladies and gentlemen. I love a little adrenochrome in my beef, says Runaway Train. Raven says that's disgusting. Hermoso, I'll laugh out loud. Disgusting, but effective. And you know what? I've noticed that sometimes disgusting is very effective. In fact, most times disgusting, when employed with some intrepidity, is very effective. Very, very effective. Pamela Jean says there's somewhere half human and half alien. I think that's what I've been saying for 58 minutes and 19 seconds, but she said it in a different way. Let's see. Where are you getting that adrenochrome? Menstrual blood is sacred. Religion has made it dirty. I still don't like it, Ermo, so I'm sorry. I still will stay away from that if that's okay with you. Cowards don't reflect validity. Oh, crowds don't reflect validity. That is absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Let's see. Fear of the Slaughterhouse. You know, it was, who was it? He wrote War and Peace. Tolstoy said, and this has always stuck with me. He said, as long as there's slaughterhouses, there will be battlefields. Think about that. Think about that. Let's see. Let's see. Jeff is a sweetheart. Sometimes, that's funny. I forget who I was talking to the other day. I was texting back and forth. It might have been Michelle Thompson. We were talking about how you can't always tell who people are. And she said something like, for example, you're very kind, considerate, and understanding off the air. Oh boy. That's funny. That's funny. And it's not that I'm unkind, unconsiderate, and uncompassionate on the air. It's just that I'm unkind, unconsiderate, and incompassionate to the destroyers of this freaking world. I'm uncompassionate. I'm unkind to the people that want to kill you and destroy you. And finger licking good, eat your energy and blood every step of the way. And I see it and you don't. That's why I get pissed off. Meanwhile, Henry says that the New Age is a trap. I agree with you, Henry. I agree with you, Henry. Let's see. I wonder if we stopped paying, if people would stop playing. Oh, I think they probably would. Am I a vegan? No, I just haven't eaten any meat in about 4 months. I have eaten fish, shellfish, and I feel really, really good. And I'm not a virgin either, in case you're wondering. Just in case you're wondering, use your inside voice, says Michelle. Doesn't matter anymore. I don't live in a trailer park anymore. I can yell loud. And nobody cares except Cynthia. And she hurt her leg and she's probably on painkillers and has crashed out. Oh, boy. Ha ha ha, that lip thing you did, Jeffrey. Don't forget the fava beans. That's right. It was you, Michelle, wasn't it? It was you. I've wondered lately if some of the church leaders I know years ago were really reptilians. Yeah, Jennifer. And guess what? Some of the ones you know right now on YouTube are really reptilian. Some of the people that you listen to, some of the people that you're subscribed to, don't have a soul. Or it's reptilian, or they're completely empty, or there's a little guy or girl in there somewhere saying, like The Fly, and remember that old movie, The Fly? Help me. Help me. I'm telling you. Oh, Cynthia's awake. Oops. Sorry, sweetheart. Tracy Dyer said that. It wasn't me. Oh, I don't think Brian Cox, Runaway Train, I don't often disagree with you, but he says that Brian Cox was the best Hannibal Lecter in Manhunter. Dude, have you ever seen the Hannibal TV series? Mads Mikkelsen will make you forget about Anthony Hopkins and Brian Cox. I shouldn't be, but I'm hooked on that literature. I love that character for a lot of different reasons. And I'm telling you, Mads Mikkelsen is Hannibal freaking Lecter. Anyway, I just lost some subscribers on that, but that's okay. Okay. Because I don't care. Thank you, Jerry. That means a lot to Jeffrey. What did Jerry say? Oh, I'll have to ask Cynthia what he said. Okay. The painkillers haven't kicked in yet. Let's see. Who are the people in your neighborhood? We live out like by our damn selves. So I could probably literally yell, help, save me, and nobody would. We're out here. Foreskins and Chianti. And some nice fava beans. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been over an hour. That's too long. I appreciate so many of you staying here. And if you go on to, it's still on, I think it's on Amazon video on demand. Yeah, that's the way it's been, Scotty boy, but it's changing. It is changing. I'll read this. AQ says that they met a 12D being and it resides outside of the cosmos. It consists of energy fields and it thinks of the entire cosmos as a nuisance. It is also void of emotions. It's an ocean of beings out there. That's interesting. That's Interesting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate you very much for being here. It's never a dull moment. Watch the Joseph Atwill interview from earlier today. There's going to be many, many more Joseph Atwill interviews. If you haven't read, I'm gonna do. Jimmy Swaggart told me this one time about the Dake's Annotated Reference Bible, and he said, "If you haven't read this book, then you're stupid. And if you haven't read Caesar's Messiah, you're stupid." I can't say that any more plainly. It's how many pages? 390 pages. I'm telling you, if you have any, you got to read this book. You've got to read this book. It'll tell, even if you don't care about the Bible, if you don't care about, this will teach you how to think in Western civilization. You got to read it. And I don't even sell it. You got to read it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the last generation of real humans. Winners have always written history. This tells you the language they write in, and that's okay, because I look at 40,000 plus of you out there, and I know that we can win today and write a better tomorrow. You know how Fight Club goes, right? You don't talk about Fight Club. This is Cousins Club. We want you to talk about it to every single person you meet. Guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, be your own guru. You're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. You don't have original sin. You got the spark of divinity within. The world is not bad, getting worse. It's good and it's getting better. And we're here to make sure, damn sure, that it does. Ladies and gentlemen, we're the last generation of real humans. We can change the world. We will change the world if we just get busy.